Hey, hi, hello, and welcome in or welcome back. Fun fact about me, I absolutely love Djent riffs. Stuff like this that you hear going on right now. I love them so much that I'm wearing my Veil of Maya joggers for the second day in a row. And so the other day when Nicholas Thayer posted his video about making generative djenty riffs in Ableton, I was absolutely enamored and I had some ideas that I thought I could take it a bit further. I asked him if he would mind if I did like a piggyback follow-up video, and he said no, go for it. So here we are. I will link his video, and I would recommend starting there so you can get to the point where I started from, but I'll just quickly recap. What's going on is we're using a rotating rhythm generator to generate these Euclidean rhythms for our kick drum, and then we're piping that MIDI over to Drive, an SQ sequencer that's giving us some note data that we're getting our riffs out of. Now what I've done is I've fed these into all the typical metal plugins that people might have. For instance, I'm using Modern and Massive for my drums, obviously, smash and grab on that, and then some Kontakt instruments in mind so that I can use a convoluted series of key switches to get palm mutes and pinch squeals. And here I've made a second layer of this where I was starting to work on those pinch harmonics. So, kind of sounds like a screeching cat, but it's very useful as like a Djent idea comer up with her. And I'm getting a little more elegant and a little cleaner with these MIDI chains each time I go about it, as well as getting, we're just going to try to make a better one than the two I started with. So let's get to it. First things first, let's grab ourselves a MIDI channel. We'll call this Layers 3, and we will take our MIDI from the drums. And then first things first, let's grab ourselves a Kontakt and a sequencer. And let's group this up and make a couple layers because we're going to have a guitar and a bass. Now let's set this to MIDI and transport. I have a set to D Phrygian, which is a very djenty thing to pick. And now we'll turn off our bass for now and load up. I always forget which one's going to be on top if you do that. We're going to load up a guitar. In my younger days, I had all the kind of metal staples, your gin bass, your Hydra. I've kind of stripped down my Kontakt collection, and so I don't anymore, and we're going to get by with just the electric sunburst. And let's get ourselves a note length. And then right off the bat, this is sending us a C1 note, so we're going to want to raise up the pitch of everything. I think we're going to put the pitch just on the guitar for now. We'll see what happens with whatever bass library I choose. But now we should be getting... Yep, perfect. And then I think we only want ascending notes because... that D would be our open string, and let's just kind of get a little... That works for me. Let's pick ourselves I think we are going to go with that clean R&B. I want it clean because I'm going to amp it myself. I like these libraries because they have this double tracking feature on there that saves us a little bit of hassle. We're going to turn off this reverb. We're going to turn off this echo. I think I will use that distortion pedal. And then we're going to pitch drop it, obviously. If we were in drop D, let's take that down to a double drop D. And let's get an amp on there. I am going to use the Soldano emulator and Amplitube. I love Amplitube. Thing's great. Soldano. Yes! And now here's where we're going to start to try to get some of these different articulations in. So let's get, we're going to want to be triggering these key switches. So let's get a chord. This chord is going to drop everything. Look what I've got going on here. Pitch it up, then do a chord coming back down. And then let's get a scale. Here's, you'll see where I'm going with this. Everything in this C1 octave, we're going to use this scale to make sure it's all only putting out that C, which is the key switch for just a regularly played note. And then we'll add another chain here, and these will be our notes heading straight on through to the voice. Now on these key switch notes, we'd like it to hit two different choices, that being one up to the palm muted note, or two up to the what's called the flageolet articulation, which would be our harmonic, our squealy. And then let's give it a pretty good chance of being randomized. And that's already starting to sound pretty cool. And then let me remember how I did this last time. Right, we have the randomizer, and then I did... Okay, I got it. So we'll have then a... if you are a squealy pinch harmonic note, which would be anything triggered by D1, in that case, you would be what we'll call our flage. Everything else would be just these two. Like, come on. Like this. And these would be muted or not. If you are a squealy note, we're going to put you up. And I feel like we're getting really short. What happens if we turn that? Maybe even an octave up from there. I think that's two. I think that goes out of the range. Yeah. And then I would like a pitch dive on these. So let's have, if this happens, we'll use an envelope MIDI. If you hit a squealy note, you will do something like this. And let's rock our pitch bend range up. Very cool. Let's start working on our bass channel, I think. We've got this guy doing basically what I want it to do. So let's take a look at our bass over here. And for this, I think I'm going to use... in my first one, I did the Rickenbacker, because what's more metal than a Rickenbacker, right? Well, maybe this icon bass would be. So again, we're going to start by pitching you up into the right octave. Do we get some presets? Let's see. Direct signal, pressure clean. Was it slap and pop? I think that's what we want. It's got that like grindy grindy character to it. And I think I'm actually gonna try Guitar Rig for this. Guitar Rig's got some bass presets in it, right? I don't know where anything is in here. Input sources, bass, dirty studio bass. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Genres. Can I get a metal bass? Chainsaw bass. That's a little dirtier than I'd like it. Sweden 90. Ooh, there it is. That's cool. Let's grab... Yeah, there's not a lot going on underneath. Not a lot down in the bottom of that. I think we're gonna... I think we are gonna double this up with a synth. Let's just put an operator sub in there. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then so I'm not gonna mess with that too much. Let's just leave you called Kontakt. And then the thing I did on the other one that I really liked is if there's a squeal, it will turn down the volume of the bass, so the squeals happen on their own. So let's get another envelope MIDI. Turn velocity off on both of these actually. Invert this, and now we might leave just a tiny amount of attack and release on each, and then bring this on over to the... Oh, I see what I've done. I'm gonna do that a different way. We'll take you off, and then we just want to get a volume knob, like a gain knob at the end of this bass channel. And then, then you will go to here, and if I've done that right, every time we're hearing those dropouts, it should be where there is a squeal from the guitar. Our channel is cooking. I think we are just going to do a little bit of mix work here. On our guitar, let's EQ that. I'm sure there is some washiness in here I don't want. Like a bunch of that I don't think I need. It's kind of awesome and it's kind of really silly, but I love it. Let's do a little to both of these together, I think. Let's just try a little bit of glue on them. And let's EQ them together. I think that's badass. And what if we might as well. I'm gonna use Pusher for this. I've been really liking this thing. Let's just turn all the knobs up. Yes, we got it, baby. And then if you come over here, changing these numbers right here, our Euclidean rhythm, is just going to kind of determine the riff. I like to keep the amount of fills under half the amount of steps, or else it gets pretty busy. But let's turn this up a little. Let's try some different things. Let's say like 17 and 6. So, oh, pardon me. So yeah, just a riff comer up with her demo ready. You can then just solo up these riffs, spend some time on your guitar, learn how to play it, record it, and this thing will make it a lot easier to come up with these kind of polymetric, morphy, flowing into each other, djenty thingies. Not to mention it's just super fun. So thank you guys for watching. So thanks, Nicholas, for giving me the okay to do a little follow-up to his video. And just as a little bonus for you, if you're into this kind of thing, Mr. Bill remixed the entire, well, not the entire, but a lot of the Veil of Maya discography in one big old medley. So it's glitched out, build out, Veil of Maya breakdowns. Just a little pro tip if you want something to listen to after listening to this. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you next one. Bye.